still wondering, is Stan Dobart going to be a defensive end for you guys on the field in a game?
Well, we'll have to see the way that the game goes, you know. But what I appreciate is that he's a senior that's just trying to find a way to make an impact to help the football team any way he can. So that's, you know, that'll be big down the stretch.
What have you seen as he's tried to learn the position and tried to learn a little bit more to make that transition? What have you seen from him?
Really, the first thing you want to see is does he have the initial toughness, you know, and just when 300-pound men come to put their hands on you, you know, how do you respond to that? And it seemed like he responded pretty well. So it's just when you get out there in the game it's at a different speed. So we will, like we do with all of our players, make sure we put them in a position to succeed.
Manny, Notre Dame, I was just asking some people, they're 2-5, and yet they always have great talent every year. How do those two things go together? And in your experience, how does it happen sometimes?
Well, their offensive video is not 2-5. You know, their offensive video speaks as one of the top offenses in the country. Number one, they played a game that should never have been played. The game in Raleigh was a farce. It should never been. I mean, they're playing in a lake, so you can't judge anything on that. So you throw that one away. And then for all the rest of the games, they've all been very competitive games. They've all come down to the last possession of the game, similar to ours, and they've been putting up a truckload of points. Didn't score quite as many in their last game, but they've shown that they've got the danger. Very explosive passing offense. Quarterback, very strong arm, really loves to push the ball down the field, and they've done a nice job. They had some outstanding receivers last year that left, and they've done a nice job of replacing those guys. They've got some young guys that have really stepped up and filled some pretty big shoes.
Manny, again, you grew up here. You know what Miami Notre Dame has been in the past, and Mark said we want these guys to appreciate it, even though they're obviously, a lot of them, very young, don't remember it. But for you, what does this game mean, and how can you drive that home a little bit, being someone who grew up watching this?
Again, they're being told that at Miami you get judged by whether you beat Notre Dame or not, and if you don't beat Notre Dame, it's a failure. It's a big deal. It's a big thing in this university. It's a big thing in this town. And if we're both 12-0 or 0-12 or playing here, there, or on the moon, Miami must beat Notre Dame. And there's been great games throughout the years. And our players need to understand it's fun to come to the U in recruiting, but you have to understand what made the U the U. And those battles that went both ways back in the 80s is really what made the U the U.
Coach Rick said there was some feistiness in practice today. Did you sense that, and what does that show you about your guys?
Well, yeah. I mean, guys are competing, you know, and that's what we're trying to. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to win every play. You know, if you can win a play, a game is won by 11 guys winning their individual play, and then you stack a bunch of winning plays on top of each other, and usually if you do that, you end up with more points in the game. So that's what you do. It's like anything else. You deconstruct everything, you break it down, and just try and just get competitive and just find a way to win whatever's in front of you at that moment.
You've got several guys that have come back this week. How nice is that for you, and what will that mean this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have more guys that can play. Some players that have made plays for us will help us a little bit with our depth. I felt like the last game, for the first time, we did not always play like hurricanes. We had some guys that had been very violent and had been very physical all year that for the first time showed to not be, which I think 3 games in 12 days with our limited numbers told on us a little bit. And so with a little break, the little 9-day rest that we've had, and then getting some guys back will give us a boost. Notre Dame will have no sympathy for us, and it'll be important that again we reestablish our physical identity on Saturday.
All right, last question,
guys. Do you
guys.
like the movie Rudy?
I'm not a movie critic, you know. Okay. My thumbs are neither up nor down.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Okay.
Manny.
Thanks, Manny. Who hasn't seen Rudy?